Poor Micah's having a shitty day, you guys. So
I need this drink more than you'll ever know.
We need a drink.
All right.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers to you guys. Welcome to
Creative Happy Hour,
where we get drunk
on the creative possibilities
each and every week with our creative bitches. Woo, woo. So we're having a pretty tough week where we're dealing with...
It's only Monday and
I know. Well, we're dealing with teenagers.
Yeah.
Doing applications to school and all this wonderful stuff.
Oh, it's so fun.
It's so fun. It got us thinking about creativity generationally, right? And we started thinking, we hear so many times like, oh, millennials or this and that, or Gen Z is this and that. So we're going to do a generational creativity smackdown. Smackdown. So that we don't smack our own kids.
Yeah, I mean,
it's the civilized solution.
It's illegal. So we try to avoid
drink
legal.
Drink.
Just have a drink.
Yes. Speaking of drink, I invented a cocktail. I hope it's not gross. It's called the Millennial.
Millennial.
Oh, I said it right. The Millennial.
Millennial.
It's Millennial Pink, as you can tell. That doesn't show a favoritism. I just couldn't find a cocktail with a Z. Probably the zombie, which I am. But
after dealing with our teenagers, we're going to be zombies.
Totally.
Or it's going to be the zombie apocalypse.
Zombie apocalypse, which is a very like Gen Z concept. They love that shit. They're so weird.
I know. They take the test online and they're like, I would survive the
Duh.
zombie apocalypse.
No, you wouldn't survive anything. You can't open a bottle of mineral water on your own.
You can't even open a bottle of mineral water by yourself.
I know. It's so sad.
it happened to me today.
It happens constantly.
My daughter could not open her drink.
I know.
I was like, you gotta be kidding.
Okay, so speaking of drink, cheers. We're gonna taste this. We will tell you guys. Cheers, cheers. We can't. I just broke a bunch of glasses before this.
It's not bad.
Lovely millennial.
I'll drink anything at this point.
So the millennial. I can say it now. Millennial is exactly. It is Lillet. Rosé all day. And sparkling. No, a sparkling water on top of those with a twist of lemon because we're a little sour about this whole situation.
Yes.
So that is what we're drinking, and we are gonna outline for you guys. First of all, you're probably wondering like, what is Gen Z? What is millennial? Because we try to avoid this question many a time.
Yes.
But we actually have a definition for you guys. So millennial would be
22, 23 and older.
23 and older.
So born 84?
1996
to 1984.
Something like
that's
that.
What you said.
I said 1981. 1981, born between 1981 and 1996. So we are safely out of that realm. We're Gen Xers.
We're Gen Xers.
Because we're excellent.
Remember excellent?
Yes.
Excellent.
Exactly. So that's us. And then the Generation Z is born between 1995 and 2010. So that's our teenagers, our current teenagers.
Our teenage kids.
So we are well placed to talk about them a hell of a lot, right?
Major shit about them.
So tonight. I actually called today. I actually enlisted the help of a friend of mine who is a psychotherapist, Harvard trained, teaches at UCLA, Pepperdine. She is super accomplished. She wrote a bunch of books about mindfulness and about, all kind of millennials. She focuses on millennials. So I asked her, I said, is it true that millennials are super not creative? And so she gave me a very detailed answer. She's actually going to go see a specialist about this. And so we'll talk about that a little bit more later. But for now, let's kind of run down the traits of each, and this is not scientific, you guys. We never pretended to be super scientific.
No.
What do we envision to be the traits of millennials versus traits of Gen Zers? So what do we think of millennials? Lazy? Immature.
They get their parents to do everything.
They get their mommy and daddy to do everything. But I feel kind of bad because here's the thing. Millennials went through that whole recession, which the Gen Zers didn't have to really deal with feeling that.
Right.
So many millennials that I know are living with mommy and daddy, whereas the Gen Zers are all like, oh, I'm going to be an entrepreneur and I'm going to leave. I feel like they lost a level of independence out of fear. And I think that fear
and
back.
I think it wasn't just them that had the fear. I think the parents were afraid
they put it
for
on
them.
Yeah,
and
like my poor little darling. Let me call them in. Call the school, say they feel bad.
I also think it was the generation that really where you graduated from college and you couldn't find a job.
Exactly, and that was in truth. I think that leads to a certain type of like nihilism where you're like, oh shit, and then when you do find the job, you don't want to take the risk. And taking risks is one of those creative traits.
Right.
That if you don't have it, then, you can't be that creative because you're too stressed out. It's that whole pyramid, right?
Totally.
You're Abraham Maslow.
Yeah. The pyramid of self-actualization.
Exactly.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I also, now that I'm thinking about it, because, when the little light comes on and my little thinking cap comes on.
Yes, it does. It's on the spot. I love putting you on the spot because it works.
Yeah, because all of a sudden I start thinking. Yeah, but I also think it's that period of time, not only, it was real. You're getting out of college, but the colleges were so saturated. More and more people were going to college. More and more women were going to college.
And it kind of didn't even mean anything.
So it kind of devalued what it meant to get a college degree. Yes. It was like college turned into being different than high school.
Yeah, high school part two. Yeah. I agree with that. And I think that I just feel like there's some kind of a delayed maturity going on. Like, I feel like the Gen Zers are not that mature, but they realize that to be creative, like, you have to have this part of childlike, immaturity in a way. Right. And you look at all these really young kids actually doing crazy things that are like super incredible activism, Greta Thunberg and all these young kids who are out there, and that's Gen Z to me. That's not a millennial. A millennial is embracing the Millennial Pink. They're embracing trends. They're basic bitches millennials for me.
They're going along with stuff, whereas the Gen Xers or Gen Zers.
Well, Gen Xers, we already said, are excellent.
And
perfect.
That's us.
We don't want to talk about ourselves too much because we're awesome.
Really awesome. Yes. No, but the Gen Zers, I feel like, they're the ones that have like, they've had technology, the newer technology long enough.
Nothing but technology.
To know how to take it to the next level. So they're like, I'm going to start a GoFundMe to start a company, or I'm going to start some kind of nonprofit organization on Instagram, or I'm going to, you know what I mean? Like, I'm going to start Etsy and start selling
I think that they're comfortable enough with the new technologies, which for them are not, for them, they're just what they've always known. Right. Like, it's this shortcut. I'm getting licked by that. Like, why? I don't know which generation she is technically in dog years. Who knows, really?
I think she's a mix.
I think she's a mix of all the worst ones.
She's a
generational mutt of the worst kind. But I think that when you have that shortcut, you have that online, you have the apps, you have everything else. In one way, the millennials, I feel like the apps came along and they're like, oh my God, how fun, I get to play with this. Right. And they play with it to have this pseudo creativity in my mind. Right. And I feel like they use Pinterest to they consume. Like, they're like, Pinterest, YouTube, Etsy, all this stuff. But are they the ones putting things on there and just blowing it up? I don't feel...
Well, and who invented those things? Because this is where YouTube came in, it was really kind of a millennial time period where we had YouTube, we had Instagram, we had Facebook, we had, we had some of these kind of outliers.
Well, Facebook is, okay, but look at Facebook, look at Instagram. Like, they're all about making communities, but kind of more inclusive because you have to have that same visual language to kind of assimilate and to get the followers and all this stuff. Whereas I think that Gen Zers are much more into that, like, non-binary beauty, they're into that more, like, we had that episode on the feminine and the masculine creativity. They're more into that androgynous creativity, androgynous psychology that enables them to see both sides. Whereas I feel like the millennials are stuck in playtime. Whereas because these are kind of still new things to them, with that they grew up getting it, but it wasn't there all the time. Whereas for Gen Z, like, this is not a toy. This is a tool. This is the way that,
this is the way of life.
And then I think that maybe they explore old things as kind of how cute. Look, I'm knitting something. This is so retro.
Yeah, and maybe parenting. I always look at things psychologically. Maybe parenting took a turn, after they saw millennials, after parents saw they're millennials, graduate from college and not really be able to get a job.
Then they're like, run after your passions.
Yeah, I mean, there's maybe a backlash to, you know, like maybe you need to focus on having some kind of
having a passion. Well, I think a skill or a passion. Like I think that millennials are still in that generation where they were told that they needed to make the money, have the career, you know.
Yeah, and they were told that if you do this, this, and this, then this is
going to happen.
Yeah,
and then it didn't.
And then it didn't.
Yes, and then that was terrible for them. And I feel that then the Gen Zers are like, oh, I can be a celebrity, or I can be an entrepreneur, or I can, which makes me fear a little bit for their future, because I'm thinking, what happens then to society when, you know, nobody's really working together so much because they're all so damn special. But I mean, that started, people were saying that about millennials back when. We're still alive, barely, but you know, I mean, I think what we're trying to do in this episode is that we're trying to say, what are the traits of these different, you know, generations creatively?
How can you tap into it, or
how
can you avoid some of the pitfalls?
Yes.
Ooh, we both said pitfalls.
Pitfalls. See, Gen Xers do that. We're kind of like psychic that way.
We have
a little psycho too, but we're psychic.
Psychic and psycho.
Totally, we can. It's a wonderful combination.
It really is.
It's and we can read each other's minds, and that's an amazing thing. Yeah, you guys don't know that. Gen Z, you don't have that.
Yeah, this is way before computers.
Control. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, what are the things that Gen Z and millennials don't know how to do? Like, they don't know how to write in cursive.
Yeah, there's no like. I mean, my mom will still write me letters in cursive,
right?
And my daughter can't read them,
which is like.
And I was listening to her.
If we're going to take over the world, that's what we're going to do.
I was
write our letters in cursive.
Yeah, I was listening to her listen to some stupid show on YouTube. I was like overhearing
multi-level creative consumption.
So I was hearing her, and it was like couples of YouTube or something stupid. It was like these young, and so one of their, you know, I guess fans sent them a letter, and it was in cursive. And
they're like, what kind of
one of the
this?
Couples, one of the Gen Zers could read it, but the other one couldn't.
That is crazy. They're like, look at these hieroglyphics. What is this?
Hieroglyphics.
Right? That is so wild.
Yeah, pathetic, right?
Oh my God. The other thing they don't know how to do is like read a map. Like
I mean, you realize.
Map.
Yeah,
like
you realize
it's a zombie apocalypse.
Never
zombies write in cursive and use maps. Like, you're fucked. Like, zombie apocalypse. Like, learn how to write in script. Is much faster. And if you're getting chased by a zombie,
no, seriously,
script is the way to go.
Seriously,
you're not gonna be able to text.
You realize that part of their brain just isn't formed.
Off. Boom, it's gone.
It didn't even form.
Some kind of prefrontal cortex lobe thing is just atrophied as hell, right? So yeah, the maps.
They're like, when they do like a brain scan, there's this vacuous area. We don't know. And then they find out later that that's cursive writing.
Oh my God. They're like, holy hell. They're like,
this part of the brain and this part of the brain aren't connected because
there's no
because and they find out that it's because of cursive writing.
Can you imagine? Well, it's true. Cursive writing is connected.
I feel like we're going to go back to like medieval times.
We are.
Like pre-medieval times. Well, it's going to be like stained glass. I mean, seriously.
Stained glass is awesome, though. I was obsessed with stained glass when I was a child. I thought that was my future career. I thought it was going to be.
But seriously.
This is the best. I thought it was going to be a veterinarian who did stained glass.
But you cannot read the Bible in stained glass.
Right?
But that's what they used to do. That's how they learn the Bible stories.
It is. But I seriously thought that was my future career. I'm telling you. And you're not like validating my important career choice that obviously never came true.
Yeah, I'm grateful because I don't know that we would have ever met because you would have been destitute.
Stained glass podcast.
Well, I think, I mean,
it says the woman.
That is kind of
like the woman who knits.
I know.
Like, I would have found you in the barn where you're knitting. I know. Don't worry.
We would have been in the same little decrepit little hovel.
We would have been like podcasting with like little, cups tied to string. We'd be like, "Hey, can you hear me? I can hear you.
Can you hear me?"
No, seriously, I feel like we are teetering on the brink of like societal collapse. Seriously. And we're going to need creativity.
More than the brink.
Right? We're we're starting to fall. We're going to need creativity to get our asses out of there.
That's why you need your drink.
Right? That's why you need your drinks on the brinks. Well, they say that, here's one thing that millennials
Who's
actually...
they?
All the experts. Oh. All the experts out there, they. All the experts say that millennials, one thing that they do properly and creatively is that when there is an issue kind of affecting today's world, such as like diversity training in offices or whatever, they are on that brink. Right, I know, it's really exciting. Yeah. But they are actually on that edge enough that they can come up with creative solutions to dealing with these communications issues.
Like what do you mean?
Well, because, okay, so if you have diversity training, if you have somebody who's from a generation B, well, who's from Gen Z. Yeah. Gen Z is like, what do you mean diversity training? Everybody's super different and it doesn't matter. Like,
yeah, it's true. That's how my daughter talks. She'll be like, Mom, feminism is like, you don't have to talk about it as it's a thing. It's just part of...
It's just part of life. Like, you can't say this, you shouldn't say that, and that's obvious, and why would anybody...
Yeah, and why would anybody have to tell me that?
End of story, right? Yeah. Whereas, and then the generation before is kind of like, some people are like, oh, I've never worked with a colored person before. A woman, this is novel, can she think? You know, and so that is, kind of foreign for them to even think of how to address that. Whereas the millennials are kind of on that cusp. They're also on the cusp of like technologically savvy versus not. Because they
So they can kind of merge, they hung out with parents that couldn't email.
Yes, exactly. Because Gen Zers, I think they're just like, oh, screw that, or maybe they would write a program so that their great grandparent can like freaking, blank and, text or whatever, but they will not have that vocabulary and those concepts to help to. So I think that maybe that's the great hope. Maybe the millennials can be our, museum curators of the future and our,
they can help bridge the zombie apocalypse with the like alien invasion.
Come on, I think that's a really good lesson that we just delivered. And
I mean,
it's so early in the podcast yet. I mean, that's amazing. Usually we save our big money shot.
That is really
is it
deep
over?
And philosophical yet. Like I don't even know.
Right? I mean, where do we go from there?
I mean, where do you go from there?
Right. So, I mean, I think that that's true though. I mean, I think maybe their talent is, don't take yourself, like, don't stop feeling bad about being lazy, because you are. Like, you're consuming rather than doing. But I think that creativity lies in the communication and the understanding.
Right.
And I think that that's a really great thing, because I don't think Gen Z's got that. I think Gen Z is all about like, let's go crazy. Yeah. Let's go absolutely nuts. But I do think that it's up to Gen Z to bring back some of that stuff, like back from the brink of that uber modern, uber like we're only using tech.
Yeah,
shit.
You can't commodify everything, people. Right,
exactly.
Like, take it easy.
Exactly. Take it easy. You can't all be these crazy raging entrepreneurs. Like, we do need worker bees. We do need people to slow down.
We need bees, period.
We need bees, like, big time. If one of you could get on that, that'd be cool.
I was listening to a Joe Rogan podcast, and I was like, okay, I feel suicidal after listening.
After the bees?
After listening to, like, the devastation of the bees. You're just like, okay, we're fucked.
Oh, it's crazy. Like, I mean, the bees are such a bad... Yeah. It's a bad sign. Like, I was just reading a college... So I've been helping kids with their college essays. My own and others. And I will not discuss my own.
That's good to know. Good to know. Do you have any leftover ones?
I'm getting $50,000 to get a kid into USC. I'm just kidding. I'm not doing that. I'm just helping kids to form their college essays a little better. And my own kid is too stubborn to even let me go there. But other people...
Meanwhile, everybody else's kid will get into college.
I know, except for mine. That's fine. He's very independent. He's fiercely independent, my little Generation Z. It's fine. But so this kid is writing his essay actually about beekeeping.
Oh.
Yeah, and it's super fascinating because he's fascinated about it. It's super important to him.
Wow, you should let him listen to this
this episode.
This Joe Rogan with this mycologist.
Oh, yes.
He interviews a mycologist who is basically found this fungi that it takes care of a virus that bees are dying from.
Oh, that's amazing. Because usually fungus is not the solution.
It's a particular type of
that's so cool.
Mushroom.
Amazing.
That grows like in like old tree stumps or whatever.
Oh wow.
Wait, I mean, he was saying that, there's all of this information now that there are natural organisms and materials that we can use, that we can basically tap into.
That's creativity
that
at work.
Helps. Yeah. And so he's creating this I guess he's giving away the first 10,000
which that's another so
units, and it's like bee feeders.
So that's a very Gen Z thing.
Yeah,
the whole giving away things doesn't really happen with millennials. I don't think.
No, they're like mine.
Because because I think that they think that there's scarcity. I think that that's what's happening. Like I think that so much of them was like influenced by that recession, that they're like scarcity mindset. Whereas the Gen Zers are like, there'll always be more, you know, like let's help everyone.
Abundance mentality.
Yeah, totally, right?
Yeah, and so he's like giving away the first 10,000. I can't remember. It's a recent Joe Rogan.
Very cool. See,
and
Joe, we promote your podcast.
Yeah, hello. But yeah,
amazing.
and it's tracking the bees, and it's got some kind of like Wi-Fi connection, and it basically it tracks all this data so they can tell if there's a community that's too low on bees.
But what if the Wi-Fi is actually what's disrupting the bees?
He addresses that.
Like,
he addresses that, but you know, they say that the cosine frequency is
because they triangulate off of that, right? So it's a pain in the ass
but
for the bees. Literally, maybe.
He's a scientist. He said there's no real scientific evidence as of yet. Those are the magic words. That determines.
All of a sudden they're like, oh shit, we shouldn't have been fitting all those bees with Wi-Fi.
Well, I don't think the bees were getting Wi-Fi, but it's something to do with like they have an ability to get ability to get the data through Wi-Fi or something. I don't know exactly. I didn't. Yeah. I got a little bit over. I was like, oh my god.
Driving. I was
like, this is way
You're like,
too
I
deep
was
for me.
tie.
But no, I mean, I do think you're right. I think it's a Gen X or Gen Zer kind of thing.
It is.
And I mean, I don't know. I mean, this guy, he might be a millennial because he's like kind of a middle.
So they have two types of millennials.
Right.
So they say that you've got those late millennials and those early millennials, and they've kind of developed these different traits.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, again, what we're saying, we're doing this little smackdown just for fun because, you know, there is a little bit more nuance than this.
Right.
Not everybody's exactly the same way because, you know, we're not doing like astrology here. We're like, you're a Leo, you're fucked. You know, like, no, that's not what we're doing.
I told my boss that today. He was like, why do I like doing that? I was like, because you're a Virgo, and Virgos like to do stuff like that.
You're like
categorical. So annoying.
Yeah, you're like, that's all it is. But so back to the bees, this kid on his college application, he was writing about how he was doing all this beekeeping with his parents, and they have a biodynamic garden and all this shit, which I was like, that is really nice. Yeah, it's very heartening. And then he had looked at the beehive, and he kind of came up with this idea for housing refugees. Like especially climate refugees. And is like this hexagon shaped dwelling because he's like is mathematically more stable and is very like, but you also can build these structures that is a more organic way for people to have a community, like, you know, physically. I'm like, that's super. He's a young kid. He's a super fucking nerd, smarter than my kid, who's now gone, so I can talk about him. It's awesome. But he, I mean, yeah.
You might not force your kid to hang out with this kid.
I think my kid would just be like, you know, forget
You're
it.
too much.
You're too smart for me. But then, I mean, reading my kid's essays that he's been writing, and he doesn't let me do anything, and he's a pain in the ass, but you see, like, you know how we yell about both of our kids.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Right? We're like, these teenagers, they don't have this and they don't have that. But you know what? Look how hard both of our teenagers work on their creative endeavors.
Yes.
These freaking kids, like, that's actually all they care about.
That's all they care about. They don't care about the room.
No.
They don't care about...
No, they don't care about any of that stuff. Half the time, they don't care about school. They just care about their creative output, which maybe that's a function of having wonderful Gen X parents like us.
Well, no, I mean, it's true. Yeah. It's like, you know, when Alex gets obsessed with, you know, like lately it's been Hamilton. It's like she listens to the music, she learns every word. She's reading
Hamilton's a very millennial thing.
It's
because it's consuming that post Broadway type of thing. But she
but it's been all
it's a multi-generation, right?
Oh, for sure. And you know, I mean, I think, you know, she's reading Sam Chernow's Hamilton biography.
Very cool.
And it's so interesting because we go to the bookstore and the lady in the bookstore, because it's like this big,
right?
You know?
Right.
And the lady in the bookstore says, "Oh, we have the teenager version." She's like, "I don't want the teenager version.
She's like,
I want the original."
Yes.
You know, I was like, "Okay."
You're like, you do that, girl.
Yeah,
you
go ahead with your bad self.
Right.
But anyway, it's like she will get her ass thrown out of PE. Like, that's an easy A, people. Like, just show
my son
up, put your shorts on.
He'll forgo an easy A in a second.
And then,
they're doing the shit they care about.
Yeah. And then all of the energy goes into...
all of it.
You know, and then today I come home and I'm like, what the fuck? The house is a disaster. Like, how could it look like you had a frat party here? And I've only been gone for 3 hours.
She secretly did.
Yeah, I've only been gone for 3 hours, and it's like, it looks like there was a frat party. And she was like, oh, I was writing an essay about my Nutcracker dance for my, for the art director.
Multidisciplinary.
She's on FaceTime with her friend, writing an essay.
See, okay.
Which is what you would do at a company now.
Right, exactly.
It's the same thing you would do at a company.
This is kind of what I love, because this is where we're taking the pros and, we're taking all of the advantages of our different generations and different types of creativity.
Yeah.
We now have that fantastic advantage that we have the old types of creativity, the dance, the plays, the whatever. And then we have, FaceTime, where you can, kind of share things with other creatives wherever they might be. You get to like much more face-to-face type communication thanks to technology, and you have all these tools that you can transform your essay into like a multimedia thing. I think that all of those things are really, really fabulous. So I mean, there's good stuff like that, but then there are kind of these warnings and the bad stuff, which we're going to get into, that my friend the psychotherapist
oh yeah, I want to hear about those.
Absolutely. But first, let's talk a little bit more about our millennial. Shall we do little tasting notes on our millennial?
Yeah, I mean, I've already like guzzled it.
It's pretty good, right? It's really refreshing. So yeah, what we did, I basically did 1 part Lillet to like 3 parts rosé, and two splashes of sparkling water with lime and lemon peel. It's very fresh. I mean, this is a good... I mean, I feel like this isn't a summer drink, and it's not a winter. Like, this works. This will please all generations.
Yeah,
it bridges that gap.
It really is quite nice. It's easy. It's easy going. It's easy. Just like millennials like it.
I think that the balm that you used actually helped.
I know my neck is moving a little bit more. It's less shooting into my hair.
CBD balm. There you go.
Where'd you get it?
I got it at some Whole Foods, probably. I don't know.
Oh my God, I need to get. Thank you, California, for having.
Yes.
Yeah, I need to get some like.
I have some stronger shit. I'll give it to you too.
Ooh, yeah, stronger shit.
I don't want you to drive with
dirty
it.
To me.
I know. It's like, I don't want you to drive with it. Is the only thing.
I'm like, because they're like the stronger shit.
Because they're like, it's non-psychoactive, but if you have a cut and it gets into your bloodstream, we all know. Well, you guys don't know, but there's
I'd be like,
oh girl, I thought I was having a stroke. So it's
I don't want that.
Oh God, I did not want that either. I might as well tell this story.
Yeah, please do.
This is stupid one. This is another generation gap. Like everybody else knows how to dose.
They know how to take their gummy bears.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, I want an edible. I'm like, no, I don't want an edible because I don't want to die. Which was a smart reaction because clearly I'm very sensitive to things. And so I had this balm that I didn't know it was a THC balm. I thought it was a CBD
they're
balm.
Different. Yeah.
They're very different. So my cousin gives me this thing because she's like, oh, this is weak. It doesn't work for me. But this chick's a pothead. So she's like, clearly.
She has to freebase this shit for it to work.
Seriously. So she gives me this thing. And I go to meet my friend for wine tasting, and she's like, oh, my hip hurts. Do you have anything? I was like, oh yeah, look, I've got this balm. Want to try it? She's like, oh my God, this balm is amazing. It works so well. And I was like, great. But she's like a civilized person who's like a hand washer and like doesn't lick her fingers after doing everything, and doesn't like stub every toe and hurt herself. So she's a normal person. So she just rubbed it into her skin, was fine. It didn't hurt. She was happy. Okay. Next morning, we're going to get up to go wine tasting. I stub the shit out of my toe, to where it's bleeding. I like jacked it all up. I'm like, oh my God, I can't even put on my shoes. She goes, put on your balm, which I do. I'm like, tra-la-la. We go to breakfast. I'm devouring like this greasy food, licking my fingers, rubbing my eyes, all this shit because I didn't wash my hands after using the balm. Of course not. Who
Brushing
would?
Your teeth with
but seriously. And we start driving to we start driving to brunch. And I'm like, I am so tired. And I start slapping myself to and I'm like, bam, bam. I'm like, what the hell? She's like, oh, we're in a carb coma. I'm like, I'm used to carbs. This is not that. And I'm like tripping down the sidewalk. I'm like, what is going on? And we get to brunch. I'm sitting there.
Could have been there.
Oh, it was horrible. It was horrible. And at one point we're sitting there and I'm like, I think I'm dying. ambulance. I couldn't eat anything. I couldn't drink anything. I wanted to hurl. I thought I was dying. And I was like, what's going on? And it was only when I started getting dry mouth that I was like, wait a second. And she looked at the thing up and she's like, it is THC. It is THC. And you put it right into your bloodstream. I was like, oh my God. 5 hours of delirium.
Oh shit!
It was horrifying.
That is
horrifying.
terrible.
Like we'd go wine tasting and like the sommelier.
You can't even drink.
No, and they're saying like, oh, so it's got no. It's like, wah, 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 wah. I was like, stop talking to me. I was like so miserable. I couldn't drive. None of it. Anyway, long story short.
Awesome.
It was crazy, but I don't think that would happen to a Gen Zer or a millennial. Just a Gen Xer.
No, it's true.
They're smarter than that, right?
We would get jacked up on some toe bomb.
Right? I did. That's me. That's what happened. Okay, so let me quote my wonderfully smart friend who, by the way, talking of multitasking creatives, okay, she's not only a psychotherapist, she's also an ex-Victoria's Secret model.
I hate her already.
Right? So
she's like smart and pretty.
Yeah,
what a bitch.
Yeah. We'll post a picture of her. She's incredible. Her name's Dr. Lara Fielding, and she is phenomenal. We love her. So we're gonna get a little quote from her because she wrote into us. She couldn't call in because she's going wine tasting. She studied when she was at Harvard. She was studying the effects of stress on creativity, and so that's
I'm curious about that.
Well, yeah. Well, basically, when you are stressed, when you have negative conditions. So, well, this is funny. So you have stress. I thought it would cut down on the creativity. But oddly enough, which is good for my son because he's a stress ball, she says that the ones who are the negative and neutral conditions who had increased stress responses actually were far more creative on tasks. So if you're raised in an environment, which is classically attributed to millennials, of only positive feedback with a trophy for everyone, you can presume that this would predispose you to less creativity.
Well, yeah, no, that makes sense. I mean, I grew up in a very negative environment with, no positive feedback.
Right? Creative as hell.
Super creative.
There you go. I kind of agree with that. Like, I've always been nice to my kids, but a little bit hard on them where I'm like, you can do this a little bit better.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I'm not the bitch who like tears up their drawings.
I don't know, but I mean, yesterday we got into the fight, like, clean your effing room for the 40th time.
Yeah.
And instead of cleaning her room, she did like a collage wall. So it was like, I was like, that actually made things a lot fucking messier.
Right?
Because,
You're like, I applaud
because now
your
there's paper
but
everywhere. And then today, obsessively, Mom, I need you to get tape. I need you to get tape.
Like,
need me to get no. I need you to clean your goddamn room.
Clean your goddamn room.
It looks like a sewer.
Right.
It's like half of the house dishes are in your room. Right.
But she doesn't care because, like, creative people, you know, messiness actually kind of, they don't care too much. It kind of feeds their thing. So she's saying, so she also says, so she's talking about a woman. So our friend, Dr.
I need to stress her out more, though.
Right? I stress, my son is so incredibly stressed. Oh my God. I mean, he's like an absolute nut job, but we'll talk about that once he got into college, which maybe he won't, but we'll see. But so Dr. Fielding is going to Napa. She's going to be visiting Amy Wilkinson, who's an author who wrote a book called The Creator's Code.
Oh.
And this is about highly creative people. And I'm like, and successful.
Wait, when is she doing that? Why aren't we going?
Because we're stupid. Because I just found out about it today when I was calling her for advice.
Wait, when is she doing that? Can't we just
like
show
right
up
now? I know. I'm like, hey. Yeah.
Can we just show up at the same bar?
I think she's meeting her. Yeah, I know. I think she's meeting her like in a couple days. I know. I was like, shit.
Where are you?
Where am I?
Where are you going?
Here. Working on college essays all the time.
You have to do like a little.
Oh man, girl, I wish. I'm doing.
Girl, wash your face.
Girl, wash your face. I'm doing college videos. I'm doing college essays. I'm about to like shoot myself. I just posted whatever. I'm going nuts. And I have another decorating job that I didn't want, but it's creative because it's a bachelor pad.
Ooh, yes, I want to help you about that.
That'll be fun. I'm thinking mirrors on the ceiling, but like in a subtle way.
Subtle mirrors.
Subtle mirrors. Yeah.
Like mirrors. the ones that are kind of like.
Yeah. Like in,
the antique ones?
Yes. Kind of incorporated into like
that's
kind of
hot.
Thing, right? I think so. I think it's going to be cool. So we're going to do that. But so Amy Wilkinson, in her book, The Creator's Code, she found that millennials are less entrepreneurial because our dog's going to barf on us. You better get down. Ew, she's so disgusting too. She stinks. Did she just burp, fart, or vomit? I don't know. Sorry, that's so disgusting. I'm gonna throw up myself. Fiona, you did not barf on me, did you? Oh my God.
No, but she was thinking about it.
She was totally
It
thinking
could
about
still
it.
happen.
Oh my God, I'm so not editing it out. We're Fiona shaming right now. We're dog shaming. I don't care. So she says that millennials are less entrepreneurial and less willing to take risks. And I think that, so this is an interesting thing. So Lara, Dr. Fielding, has found this. So she's had a bunch of people, like students, so Gen Z and millennials, in her therapy room. She finds that it's both of them. So she goes, whether Gen Zs or millennials are less creative one than the other, she's like, that's, she doesn't have enough real evidence to say anything.
She's not getting a reading regarding creativity. She's getting a reading about risk taking.
Yeah, but she says that
to us, risk taking is a more creative.
Well, it's needed.
You have to be a risk taker. You have to be vulnerable.
Yes, it's a vulnerability. And that's the thing. If you're getting this achievement trophy and that you've been told that you're excellent, eventually it doesn't build you up to make you strong. No. Eventually it makes you think, oh my God, nobody but mommy and daddy actually, you get this thing where you're like, oh shit, actually I'm not as good as I thought I was. Like when you get your first rejection, you're like, and it freaks you out. Right. So they literally call this uncertainty intolerance. Like it's beyond just being like, oh, I don't like taking risks. It's like I'm intolerant to any kind of uncertainty.
That's one of the main reasons we are applying to this high school because, I don't actually know. I mean, we have a good chance of getting in. However, I don't know that she will get in. Right. But she has to apply and audition. Yes. And she has to go through the process of preparing for an audition, all these things. And I kind of feel like that is really, I think that's the only way to learn how to take risks and be, either accepted or rejected or go through the process or feel like you don't know, they have the uncertainty.
Well, I think that the college application process, I think that that's almost the first step of your college education.
It is.
Is to apply yourself, right, to doing this thing that's so uncertain and you're putting yourself out there. Yeah. And you're so, you're super vulnerable. Yeah. And then you're trying to do your best and sell yourself, but there's a big chance you might not get in. And I think that that's a really important learning point, don't you? I mean, it's massive. So basically she's seen in therapy, she goes, it's a big barrier to creativity. And she said, so she has an example that she talks about, this girl named Jessica. Jessica. Hey, Jessica. So she discusses her in her book. She says that Jessica was like, oh, I 100% want to be a writer. I feel so great when I'm writing. I still want to write. Writing's the bestest. I'm awesome at writing. I just want to be a writer. It's so great. But then when it comes down to actually writing something, like something, like a book or a paper or anything, she's just like, oh, no, it's not the perfect situation. I have distractions around me.
It's too loud. My roommates were too loud.
Excuses is the but, right? That's
but no but.
Yeah, but no but.
You ever watch Little Britain?
Yes, but that's the thing is the
but. No but, but,
so
no but.
She goes, it's the classic but. So it's like these millennials or Gen Zers get caught thinking that they can't have any distractions. They can't have anything where the situation's less than optimal. Right. And we're like, hello, Gen Xers, like all of our situations were less than optimal. We just make shit happen despite. Like here we are doing our podcast, like between, family here, you picking up your stuff,
me having like a neck kink in my neck
dog
and a
barfing on us
and the dog barf. Yeah. No, I mean,
we're fine. Like the Gen Zers would be distracted as fuck.
And the millennials would be like, I can't do it.
Yeah. Yeah, they'd be like, I have a pimple today. We're like, hello. So Dr. Fielding, we're going to give you a little piece of homework or a little piece of advice. She's got an exercise she calls no buts.
Oh.
No buts.
I want to do it.
We're not anti-butt, like as a but word no but. So she says, because the word but means be out in Latin. So it means that you're kind of getting out of your, kind of purpose that you have. Right. You know what I mean? So she goes, when we use the word but, it signifies that we're negating the first part of what we said, like, I want to be a writer.
So it's an out.
And then
it's an excuse.
But you're emphasizing the excuse.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You're like,
that's a really good analysis.
Right? So she says the solution is to use the word and instead of but.
Oh.
And I've heard this before. Yeah.
So to include and not exclude.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I like that.
Yeah, so instead of saying yes, but, yes, and then you have to form a different sentence. So, for example...
Well, it would have to be and because it's inclusive. So you have to include something, not exclude something.
So she says, noticing that your mind is offering up doubt and insecurity while also telling yourself that you can take one step at a time towards that goal. So that's super interesting. The idea is not to ignore the difficulty and pretend it's not happening, but to hold both your ability and your doubt in awareness. I was like, oh, that's super interesting.
That is interesting. I do like that. I do like the use of the language. I think that, I mean, there's a lot of people that, you know,
there is something to calling a professional in.
Yeah. Well, there is something, you know, I mean, a lot of the new agey people, you know, that are into like affirmations and stuff, you know, they talk about using positive versions.
Yeah. I think there's something to that.
Yeah, there's something to that because your brain will go where you direct it.
Well,
right?
You just brought up all those new agey type things, and I think that one of the plus points that millennials and Gen Zers have is that they don't see that whole thing as super woo-woo. Like, they actually take that as a matter of course. Like, I think that they
consider all of it. They consider all of it.
I think that they consider all of those things and that they use that as a tool in their toolbox that can help them, you know, with life and with their creativity. And we would just say that we really stress that you should kind of take notice, like just like Dr. Fielding says, like kind of notice that you're having these blocks to your creativity and to your success. Because it's not just creativity. Like, you know, when they say kids are creative, like kids are so creative, yada, yada, yada. Well, a lot of people actually say that kids aren't that creative because they're not successfully creative. Like, they do drawings, but their drawings are shit, right? They're making stuff, but they're making a bunch of crap. Like, not to be, you know, anti-trophy kid.
But you also know that I have a rug in my house that's kid art.
Right, yes. But it's, you know, a lot of that stuff, like,
it's child labor.
It's child labor. We like child labor. We're fine with that. But we're into our kids' art because it's kind of a picture of where they are and their lives is special to us. But I don't think somebody else is going to look at your kids' art and be like, wow, that's freaking genius.
Well, people have looked at my kids' art and said, wow, I can't wait to see
That's because they like you.
No, but I mean, seriously, that like when she was small,
she's more creative than some. She, you know, obviously
she did, but then she lost.
They lose a lot of that freedom. So that's the thing, like they lose a lot of the freedom.
Well, and I mean, I'm reading this book called Brainstorm right now. And it is essentially talking about how from 12 to 24 is this huge amount of brain development where they pretty much get rid of a lot of the synapses and a lot of the...
I can't believe you brought this up like towards the end of our podcast. Like...
I know. No, but I mean, basically between 12 and 24, because they're starting to get into rational thinking and all of these aspects of brain development.
Yes.
And, you know, that like risk taking is one of them. And they, you know, they actually say that, you know, boys and girls have risky behavior, so you have to create opportunities for them to,
do that.
skateboarding or snowboarding.
Well, even like the kids, like the jungle gyms. Like when you look at the jungle gyms and then you go back and look at them as an adult, and you go, what the hell? It's like super dangerous.
Yeah.
Like these monkey bars and shit are a million opportunities to break their neck. Yeah. But it's a risky behavior that's kind of semi-controlled. Yeah. Safe enough, almost. But the kids need that because they learn better in those positions of risk and stress. And that's a really interesting thing. And I think that maybe the Gen Zers are also learning to kind of even millennials, like they're more risk takers. Like I think that with the camera, you know, what's it called? What is it? GoPro. With the GoPro and everything, I think that they engage in a little bit more risky behavior, maybe athletically, if not creatively, but maybe they can transfer that to creative behavior as well. Because I mean, sports can be creative. You know what I mean? And also it's the way you document it and it's the way you know.
But I mean, what you're making me think of also is that, you know, we don't exist in a vacuum. So if you are a millennial or a Gen Zer,
don't go offing yourself.
Yeah.
You'll never be as cool as us, but you're not that bad.
Yeah.
You have a chance.
And you're never going to be as cool as a Gen X. But I mean, I think, you know, we're always developing within our own, you know, I mean, it's not like, oh, if you're lazy, entitled millennial, there's still hope for you. Like you could potentially stop drinking rosé and break out of your...
Look, we're about to stop when we finish our glass. It's over.
I mean, you can break out of your, lazy behavior.
You can. No, that's the thing. We're kidding about that a little bit, but the whole thing is that it's all about self-awareness.
Right.
To know, like, what are my traits? What is keeping me from being creative? Because again, why do we keep focusing on creativity? Because it is the skill of the future. So if you're saying that you guys are the future, your generation is the future,
right,
you cannot be that without being successfully and productively creative.
Right.
It's super important. And if you lose that, you lose a whole huge aspect
of yourself
and your
future potential.
Exactly. Like, your contribution to the world is not going to be what it could be. So we're really pushing this forward. Like, even for ourselves, we joke about how fabulous Gen Xers are, but, we have a tendency, like baby boomers, we don't think of them as super creative. Of course, you've got super famous artists who were baby boomers.
Sure.
They're not thought of, like, everybody generalizes generations, but here's the thing. Within your generation, you can certainly take the advantages that you were given or the disadvantages you were given and kind of mold those to where you can be as creative.
Take advantage of your and cultural legacy.
Exactly.
And your generational legacy.
Totally. And also don't use your generation as an excuse either.
That.
I'm a millennial. I don't know what to do.
I don't need to do anything. I don't want to clean my room.
Yes. Well, we're going to go
clean your fucking room.
Clean your fucking room. That's a message to any Gen Zer.
Yeah. I mean, it should be a bumper sticker. Like,
clean your fucking
moms
room.
Against dirty ass rooms.
Dirty ass rooms. Moms against MADAR. Matter. Yeah, exactly. We're matter.
I don't know why. It's like, I just hate the fact that I have to close out this whole aspect of
shit.
Like,
no shit.
You have to shut it out. Energetically, it's just a disaster.
It's just interesting because they don't care. Like, I always tell my husband this, that, like, this is the same thing. This is not just a generational thing. This is like when you have a communication breakdown because there's something that's important to you, not important to them.
But why is it important to me?
I don't know. Not my problem. I have no idea. For me, look, I have, like, my living room and my dining room have to be impeccably clean. My bedroom can be a frickin'...
Oh, so you're just like my daughter.
I'm just like your daughter. I'm just like her. Identical. We understand each other.
You guys are Leos.
I know, exactly. We're saying we're Leos, so that means we're just exactly the same. And we're Gen Xers, so we're exactly the same.
It's bullshit on top of bullshit.
It's bullshit on top of bullshit. But I think we gave you some truths anyway.
I mean, I think you all are better off because we had this conversation.
I'm glad we had this conversation. This hurt us more than it hurt you. So that being said, you guys, please comment down below if you think we're old, stupid bitches, but we think that creativity is going to keep you young and fabulous forever.
Yeah.
So
embrace it.
Embrace it. Cheers to you guys.
Cheers.
Cheers. We will see you next time.